Hi, I'm Mary Grothy, CEO of Sales BQ. Welcome to this episode of the Quota Crusher podcast. FYI, for those of you that are listening audio only, you do want to watch this one back on our YouTube channel because I am whiteboarding today. But I will walk you through it verbally. You should be able to follow along. But if you want to see the video version, make sure you jump over to YouTube and watch this thing. Watch me in person. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about time management. On a prior podcast, we talked about the top attributes or 3 attributes of top sales performers. And in that, we covered that hustle and relentless desire and pursuit to win, fueled by hating to lose. One of those attributes being willing to do whatever it takes ethically to succeed. And I think about one of the qualities that I had as a top performer. It was always time management. I'm very, very organized. So I'm going to give you a brief high-level overview of what we teach for time management, and you can download the template from our website, salesbq.com, all about how to structure your day and kind of highlight what you're doing right now so that you can have a good dialogue with yourself on what needs to change. So the way that I like to teach this is to allow you to map it out. I want you to draw yourself. That's me. Okay, draw yourself. You can even give yourself a name. Beautiful. Now I have my world, and in my world, I have key core rocks, things that I do every single week, big categories of things that I need to do. So I'm going to go back a few years when I was in a sales role, and I'm going to use that. So back when I was selling, I had categories of items that I would do every single week. One of them, I had prospecting. I also had internal meetings that had to be done, my sales team meeting and one-on-ones, etc. Then I had my sales meetings that I ran with my prospects and clients. Then I had the proposal / paperwork stage of my role. Then let's see, what else did I have? I had implementation for new clients that I was always a part of. So implementation, I'm writing this out. And these are my core rocks that I had every single week that I needed to do. So I'm going to turn these into rocks. These are all nice jagged edges. Boom, boom, boom. Really, if you're listening to the audio, you probably want to hop over to YouTube and look at this. So these are my big fat rocks. Now, have you heard that story about the professor that had a giant jar and he had rocks, pebbles, and sand and water? And he said, how do you fit all of these in here? Well, if you start with the sand and water, you're going to screw yourself because you're going to fill it all the way up and then the rocks don't fit in. So the whole thought of the conversation was start with the rocks, put the rocks in first, then the pebbles and the sand, then the water, and it fills it all the way to the top. So we have to put the big important things in first, because if you fill your day with the sand and the water, you're going to be focusing on things that are not revenue generating. You're focusing on escalations, client service issues. You're talking about football when you should be telemarketing. Like, what's going on? You're filling your day with things that aren't moving the needle for you. They're not revenue generating, and you look super busy, but you're not selling anything. So you have to get to the core rocks of what your day should be made up of, your week should be made up of, and then you look at the pebbles and the sand and the water. So let's look at the rocks. We just outlined them. Now I'm going to look at all the pebbles that make up those rocks. When I'm prospecting, I have a lot of steps in the prospecting process. So step number 1, I do list building. So I find out my top targets. Step number 2, I profile all those accounts, and then I do a multi-touch cadence. So that's LinkedIn, email, phone, yada, yada. Then I also have networking that I do. I have referral partner meetings. Lots of meetings that are going on throughout the week. These are my pebbles. Now, let's go down to the next one. What about internal? Well, each week I have my sales team meeting. Then I have my one-on-one. Great. What about sales meetings? Well, when I book a prospective client meeting, I do pre-call planning. I need to get materials together. I might need to customize a demo site and get that ready. I might need to prepare some preliminary pricing, so I've got that available. Maybe check with some references. A lot of work in between those meetings. Of course, I also have drive time to those meetings. What about when you get to that proposal, paperwork, administrative phase? You might need to do some work in your CRM. You have the actual proposal building. You might be preparing a PowerPoint here or a slide deck. A lot of steps in that proposal phase. Now, let's say you win the business. You've got implementation. You're going to have paperwork. You're going to have a handoff call. And then whatever steps in your implementation process, whatever the expectation is for the rep to be involved. So there could be some meetings in here. All right, so these are all the pebbles that make up your rocks. So we're going to draw a little circle around each of those. For those of you on audio, you are patiently waiting for me to draw about 20 circles right now. Great. So you look at what is made up of your rocks. Here are your pebbles. Now we want to get into the list of sand. What are all the things that are not included on this list that pop up and really slow you down and get in your way? What are some of the things that you don't really block out time for that without fail come up during the day? So you have over here, you have your list of sand, and you can just list out all the sand items. So there are things that are distracting to you. So for me, when I was working out of the office, I always had chit chat. I had chit chat, people wanting to talk and do anything to keep themselves from having to dial on the phone. Then there's also, I had dealt with operations issues. I would also have email, voicemail, so much to follow up on. So follow-ups would be included in this. Think about your list of sand and everything that you seem to spend the majority of your time on that's keeping you from doing the rocks and the pebbles, and list that out on the side. Now what I want you to do is grab a different color marker, and you're going to start thinking on a weekly basis, what are all the pieces, how many minutes do all of these take, or hours per week? And then you're going to add it all up and figure out how many hours are in your work week. So if you've got, let's see, to build a list each week, that takes me 30 minutes. Then to profile, that takes me 2 hours. And to do my prospecting, I do about 10 hours of prospecting a week. Networking, about 1 hour a week. Referral partners, about 1 hour a week. Then I go in my sales team meeting is 1 hour a week. My one-on-one is 1 hour a week. You get the point. I'm not going to go through and add all these up. But what I'm going to do is put in a different color here how much time this takes me. I'm going to add it up in the bubble. So this is, or in my bubble, in my rock, 2 hours a week here. Prospecting, this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14.5 hours a week here. And prospecting, you add all those up and you have one giant number that goes underneath your great stick figure here that you drew with your name. And so let's say that I have a 70-hour work week for my sales job, which is not unheard of. Then what you're able to do once you map all of this out and look at it is you can download our free template for time management. First step is accountability and awareness. Awareness, not accountability. Awareness. I want you to put in a spreadsheet, and we've already got this templated out. You have all of your rocks and then all these subcategories next to it. And I want you to hold yourself accountable. I want you to track yourself for a week or two and put in the amount of time that you're spending per day on all of these activities. Then, when you realize how much time you're spending, I want you to create a color block time management chart. So when you look at where the time's being spent and how much you need to be spending on each of these activities to be successful, then you can color block your calendar. And the way that we do this is we block out certain times of every single day. And as a top performer, what I used to do is I only had discovery meetings on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9, 11, 1, and 3. And that was discovery meetings or demos, so any prospective client meetings. 9, 11, 1, and 3, so 4 times 3, 12 meetings a week. Mondays were all prospecting for me, internal, paperwork, referral partner meetings, and and Fridays were also closing out the work week. Friday was also my swing day. If for any reason I fell short on my activity, I had time on Friday to be hammering the phones, try to get another discovery meeting, calling my referral partners, who should I be talking to make sure that I hit my goals for the week. But I blocked out that time. I had it color coded, and I knew exactly how to hold myself accountable because it was blocked in my calendar. My prospecting time was blocked in my calendar, and everything had an alert. It would go off, and I was disciplined to doing it. And I think that time management is another attribute of a top performer. I hope that this was helpful for you today. So if you're audio only, go watch this on YouTube. Make sure you go to the website, download the free template, and we'll put the link to that in the comments here. You can find that on salesbq.com. And don't forget to connect with us. You can connect with me, Mary Grothe, G-R-O-T-H-E, on LinkedIn, marygrothe.com. And of course, subscribe to us on YouTube and audio here. Thanks, everybody.